grab your big book, your pen, your highlighter, and notepad and get ready to hear and apply some of the solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. To have a question addressed in a future episode of Noodle It Out with Nikki, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and Nikki is spelled with 2 Ks. To get a more interactive experience with Nikki as she noodles out life and recovery questions using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a link to her weekly Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting held live on Zoom every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The information to that meeting is in the show notes of this podcast. God morning, God afternoon, and God evening to all. My name is Justin B., and I am a son of an all-powerful, perfectly loving God and a qualifying addict of multiple fellowships living in the miracle of recovery. And I'm here with the intelligent agent, spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation, and my co-host, Nikki M. Nikki, please take a minute and share with us how you're doing today and what's going on.
Hi, everybody. I'm just so grateful. I'm Nikki M, and I'm so overjoyed. I don't want to start with blubbering with tears. I got 2 hours of sleep last night. I'm so tired. And I said to Justin through a message, I don't think I can record this morning. And he said, do you want to just jump on and check in? And I just started to cry, and we were not going to record. And then somehow we're here getting out of self. And I'm just so grateful because our book does say there's going to be some tests, some ups and downs, some mistakes. And if you stay in this room long enough, you'll get a brother like Justin to help you through those moments. So I'm real grateful.
Thank you, Nikki. And and I'm grateful that we're recording this morning too. It was, it's good. It's where we need to be today. It's where we need to be today. All right. So as anybody out there who has listened to this or any of the other RICO 12 resources knows, RICO 12, we are open to all addictions, all afflictions, all manifestations of the illness of alcoholism. And we just provide resources that are hopefully helpful to you and to others. And this specific project, the Noodle It Out with Nikki M project, is one where we take questions that come into us either through email, either through the Noodle meeting that happens every Monday morning, or our WhatsApp group, or Nikki's WhatsApp group. And we just bring those to the Big Book, and Nikki helps us find the answer, the solution in the Big Book to that. And we, over the last week, have received 3 new questions through our email, which it's really cool to see that picking up. We've most of the recordings we've done have been questions that have come from other places, but now we're getting a lot more into the email. So if you have a question that you'd like us to address in a future episode, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and we'll get to those. And Nikki has 2 Ks. All right, let's jump into this question today, and I'm actually going to go right to the email that came in. This is from Melissa. Melissa says, on the back of your recent Noodle with Nikki episode of Noodling Out listener questions, applying what Justin said about doing step 10 every time he shoulds on himself, would it be possible to noodle out Big Book page 111, the first principle of success is that you should never be angry? And then this person says, and then Melissa says, my understanding is that it doesn't say I won't ever be angry. It's saying that acting from a place of anger does not equal success. It's a reminder to bring in page 87 as we go through the day we pause, and 417, practicing acceptance. So maybe so what is a way to work my spiritual muscles when I do get angry? So Nikki, noodling out getting angry, how do I work these spiritual principles when I do get angry?
Wow. I know why you picked this question, because I told you yesterday I was doing service. It's June, and around the world, or at least in North America, it's Pride Month, and they have a big parade and a party. And in the sober tent in Toronto, I host a meeting, a sex and love meeting annually every year. And the parade was really busy. I was walking through. Long story short, I was assaulted on my bike, and it was purposeful. This person did it, and I started to get, of course, angry. So let's go to page 111, because I know what you're talking about, Melissa. This is not easy. See, we're on page 111. The first principle, and this is a spiritual principle based program. So the first principle of success is that you should never be angry. And as Melissa said, Justin talked about the shoulds. I shoulda, coulda, woulda. We try not to use that language, but they're not saying that you will never get angry. That's why they have instructions on what to do. But in that moment, I was on the ground, Justin. I have a big bike too. I have a baskets. I'm that girl city riding. I don't have a car, so I need lots of baskets, and it's all big and heavy duty. And I went down with it, and I got up. I was really angry, but then I remembered who I was. See, when you stay long enough in the rooms, Melissa, you will remember who you are. I'm a child of God. Now, yes, I got up and yelled a profanity, which, yeah, I mean, what am I going to do? I did it. It's the human response. I'm not that centered or haven't been here that long enough to not be able to just turn the other cheek, I should say. That's a real hard thing to do. But I was able to remember who I am. So what does that mean? I wake up every day and page 30 tells me to smash the idea that I'm like other people. So I'm not like other people. Not that I can't be at the big celebration of Pride and not have a drink or not go dancing or whatever it looks like. I can't get angry. Like, just start there. I'm not allowed to get angry. Other people are allowed to get angry. I'm not. You know, we just came out of COVID. Well, for me, it's always just came out. My life changed so much in COVID. And long story short, I got real angry. But I knew who I was because I've stayed here long enough. See, it says the consciousness of your belief system on page 55. So my consciousness, I'm awake, I'm aware. I'm also page 18, armed with the facts about myself. I know I can play the tape forward enough that I know what will happen if I get angry. I know what happens because I'm awake enough. I'm not blotting out my consciousness. So I've got brains, page 83, that God gave me, so I can use them to, here it is, to watch. Remember, we're to watch. So I kind of, in that moment yesterday, Justin, so interesting. We are recording, and this is so helpful because I remember I got up, I kind of zoomed out, and she kept walking and then giving me the finger, and there was security around, and the security did nothing. You couldn't find a police officer. It was really actually scary. And I kept walking, and nothing escalated because she knew what she had done is wrong. She was kind of running away, screaming obscenities at me. But long story short, see, this is page 87, a working part of my mind. I know I cannot get angry. I made my step 3 decision yesterday to be a member of this program. Oh, there it is. What's it going to look like when a 12-step member is rolling around on the ground with another child of God, angry? And remember, people know me. Yesterday, I was like, someone called my name and was like, oh no, who's that? Like, I gotta be, I mean, I got a big mouth. I'm active in my communities. And actually, it was one of my sponsee's friends who's not in program. And he says, Bo. Bo's transformed. And I was like, wait, what? Who are you? He's like, he knew Bo from his past life, my sponsee, and he's seen this man transform. And he came up and said something. He must see me on his Facebook feed or whatever. But it's crazy because I guess, Melissa, you did mention page 417, and I accept this is my role. I'm not allowed to behave or act like other people. Right? Does that, you want to come in here, Justin? Is that making sense? Because I'm only on 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah, Nikki, I think it's making sense. And what I think where I want to go with this is, you said, I remember who I am. I need to remember who I am in these moments when anger comes along, when things happen that spiral me into anger. So, Nikki, You say this very regularly, but let's dive into this a little bit. Who are you? Who is Nikki? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, that's really great because that comes down to the consciousness of our belief system, right? So, like who I am. Now, how do you discover who you are? You do a thorough step 4. And we've learned this on our podcast with David G, that we are not our character defects. That's not who you and I are. We're not lustful people. We are not evil people or lazy, but the defect of character makes us that way. So, who am I? I'm a loving child of God. I'm an intelligent agent spearhead. I'm all these magical and mystical things, but here it is, page 117. I've been programmed. So I've been going deep into like, who am I? Well, let's see who I was programmed to be. I have a number. I won't say it because you guys can use it at later dates. Someone will and become Nikki in California because I've got 2. I've got a social security number in America and I've got my social insurance number in Canada. So I've got 2 numbers. That's who I am. I'm number 504, blah, 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 blah. Then who am I? I'm who my parents told me I am. I'm Nicole. They gave me a name. They gave me a religion. My mom put me in Happiness Christian School in Cypress, California. That's where I went to elementary school. So I was programmed, right? You see what I mean? Who am I? Well, then my school told me, they programmed me to be quiet. Don't just get up and go to the bathroom without asking. Deep programming, deep. Then I was programmed. We were just talking about this before, the feminist movement, all these movements that we're programmed into. You don't need a husband. You need to get a job. You don't need a baby, or you can be a single mother. You can do this, like all this programming, when really the programming I wanted, that is the consciousness of my true belief, is that I don't want to work for 9 to 5 in an office tower and retire at 65 and drop dead. See, I'm telling my daughter, like, please, honey, not if, when we get the grandbaby, because, she's trying to make that baby for us. It's better that you raise your child and not take the money if possible. I was talking to a man the other day, and he's and his wife, they were talking to me, they had kids, and they said they made the decision that the wife would stay home and be the wife, because I was programmed that being a wife, what do you do? Well, being a wife is lame. Being a mom's lame. You need to have a career. What? You're not a doctor. You're not a lawyer. You're a grocery store clerk. This, like, you see, the programming runs deep. So who am I? I'll tell you who I am right now, Justin. I've had this conflict for about a year with my neighbors who did a renovation, and totally, I said no, took advantage, blah, blah, blah. I've gone, as the book says, I think it's page 74, I've gone to the properly appointed authority, a lawyer. I've paid all the money. So the other day I went in to sign. I prayed about it, sponsor, all these things. I was going to accept the offer that they were going to give. And I was going to move on and let it be, right? Let it be under the water under the bridge. And then I saw the offer and I just couldn't do it. I looked at my lawyer and I said, I'm a retired burlesque entertainer. I had to get naked. I had to give lap dances for my house, for my money. No, I'm not going to roll over and play dead for this. And I am out of money to pay the lawyer. So guess what? I'm a lawyer now. That's who Nikki is. I'm whoever I want to be. I'm a lawyer. And then right then and there, Justin, I used the last bit of my credit card because I've had to, pay for the renovation. It's crazy what's going on right now. And I'm not angry because these aren't my neighbors. They're my teachers. They're teaching me. And so through teaching me, I am now a lawyer because my lawyer said, Nikki, you can do this, because he's written all this stuff. I just have to go in and I have I'm intelligent agent spearhead. So who am I? I'm an intelligent agent spearhead. I'm a soul surgeon. And I didn't need to go to Harvard or some fancy university to get a degree. I heal people. I'm a healer. I'm a light worker. But see, I was programmed to be, I'm a single mother. I'm an addict. I'm half black, I'm half white, I'm this, I'm that. No. No, those are labels you guys gave me. My government gave me, because page 117 says we urge you to try our program. So no, I'm not an angry lady. I'm a loving child of God, but I forget because the programming runs so deep. My addict life is my only normal one. So I am so special. So are you, listening audience. So are you, fellows, new friends, but you've been programmed to believe that someone has to validate you and tell you. See, this is all deep down inside the great reality, but we've been programmed. I keep using that word because we are in a program. So who am I? Well, I'm not an angry person. I'm a loving woman. I'm a woman too. You see, it goes deep. I could keep listing and listing. So I want to encourage Melissa, you have to stay in this rooms, because let's go here and then you can come in with this thought, Justin. Page 28 says this: a new life has been given us, or if you prefer, a design for living that really works. See, I have a new life. I used to be an angry woman. I used to be all these things, but that's not who I am anymore. The consciousness of my belief. Page 69 says, we remember always. And it says that our sex powers, but go deeper. Are you remembering always that your love power, that your power of restraint? You see, we remember always that we have gifts. In our group, Justin, we have Everly. She helps us out. And she has been diagnosed with, the medical things. And one day she told me they're all superpowers. She just calls them superpowers. Because the doctor will say to me, Nikki, you're bipolar. Nikki, you've got ADHD. You've got borderline personality, whatever they're going to tell me. And they're going to give me some pill. But I'm going to say, I'm not any of those things. You see, this is really deep. Who am I? I'm a woman with superpowers. Today, I'm a soul surgeon. When I get my court date, I'll be a lawyer. When my son comes over, I'll be a mom. I'm a daughter today. My mom's downstairs. I'm your friend. I'm your sister, Justin. I'm a lot of things. I'm a member of Rico 12.
Yeah, Nikki, I love how this has gone. I think that the direction of this conversation, of this recording, is really powerful and potentially a game changer, not just for you and me, but for anybody out there listening who is willing to ask, who am I? And I invite, this is something that I've done, at least 8 or 10 times in the last 5 to maybe longer than that years, where I've sat down with pen and paper and prayerfully said, God, to the God of my understanding, God, who am I today? Who am I? And I just sit there in quiet meditation and just start writing the thoughts that come to my mind. And that's two-way prayer is what that is, but that's with a very specific question of, God, who am I today? And I let God, let's see, Nikki, you're going to have to help me with the big book verbiage. I let God discipline me. I let God demonstrate through me
what God can do, or you let God discipline you. We alcoholic addicts are undisciplined, so we let God discipline us the way we just outlined. That's page 88.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if I'm trying to tell God, hey, God, this is who I am, and this is what I want to be, is that a bad thing? No. But I think I'm limiting myself when I say, God, this is who I am. You discipline me. You tell me who I am. You tell me what you want me to be today and what strengths you have given me today in order to make that happen, what principles I need to be aware of in order to make that happen. I invite everybody out there to do that. Just sit down in the quiet in the morning, sometime in the next, do it today, do it tomorrow, first thing tomorrow morning. If you're listening to this, sit down, pen and paper, write down, God, who am I today? And be quiet and then just start writing what comes to mind. I think you'll be amazed. I think there are going to be some people, if they take up this invitation, that will have game changing, life changing, existence changing experiences. So, Nikki, any other thoughts on that before we close out on
Well,
this?
yeah, I do have some thoughts on it real quick because you said put pen to paper, and it's all through our book. It says, in black and white. And that's not just for an inventory, everybody, but what Justin is inviting us to do is on page 64. Therefore, we started a personal inventory. God, who am I? And see, here we're looking at a lot of wreckage. We're looking at the things that block us, but we could do a personal inventory of God, who am I? In that loving way. See, it says a business. How about a human, which takes no regular inventory, goes broke? Why? We don't know who we are. We have to take, it says taking an inventory, commercial inventory, is a fact finding. See, I put above there searching. It's a fact finding. I'm searching for, again, God, who am I? A fact facing process, fearless. God, who am I? Because I'm not lazy. I'm not a cheater. I'm not a liar. You see, like those, that's not who we are. Those are the blocks because we've fallen in such a deep sleep. And it says it's an effort to discover. Oh, I love this. Okay, I circled this word, Justin. It says the truth. See, the truth is I'm not, and I want to wake up all of you out there. You are not what you've been told you are. You're not stupid. You're not a loser. You're not bad. See, the truth about the stock and trade is that you're loving, you're the fruit of the spirits, because God, I keep saying this, but we got to keep diving so deep because it says God is inside of us. So if God is inside of us, who am I? I'm a little God. I've got the God essence in me. I'm a little G. I'm running around having this experience, and God, this power, is experiencing life through my eyes. And then I remember, like Melissa, because she wrote in about the question, who am I, during this fact finding, searching, fearless moral inventory? I remembered I came here for these experiences. So when I had that incident, thank you, God. Where I come from, I don't know hate. I don't know anger. I come from a place that is so loving. So I don't know what it is to experience this stuff. And I came to experience what it's like to have deep pain, what it's like to have deep anger and still be loving while doing it. It's so hard. Oh, I'm a teacher too. So it says if the owner of the business, so if Justin and Nikki, the owner of these meat suits, want to be successful, we cannot fool ourselves about our value. And our value is we are loving, powerful, beyond belief. We are so special, laser designed. We don't need to go through anybody or anything because this power is inside of us. So every day, how do you do this, Melissa? How do you not be angry was the question. And who am I? How do I do it? Page 55. Every day I sweep away my prejudice is what I was taught, is what they told me true. I think honestly, yes, I was powerless, but now I've tapped power. So that means if I've tapped power, I have power. And it just says tap. It doesn't say I've consumed all of it. So I have some power. And then I've got to search diligently within me. Like Justin doesn't need to search for the power in his wife and his kids and look at me slipping that in our grandbaby. He's yours, not mine. So it's really, this is a lifestyle. Don't go. Just stay here. Just stay here. And Justin can take us out because I feel better. There's some tears, but they say tears are really, they're healing. You know that from your communities, all your communities, when the tears get shed, it's like this energy, they wash over us, and then we can continue on with a greater understanding of ourselves and others. So
Yeah.
exciting.
Thank you, Nikki. I love this. And yeah, we go from hey, how do I deal with anger that comes, even though the big book says I should never be angry, to who am I? And this is just a powerful cycle that we've gone through in this conversation. Um, I've got nothing else to add other than, guys, find out who you are. Ask the God of your understanding, who am I? And then if that comes back, when that comes back as, I see you as a child of light. I see you as somebody who has something to give, and here's what that gift and talent that I've given you. Put it into action. Work it. Work it, because if you don't work it, you're not doing yourself or anybody else any good. But if you work it, things change and you become something that God created you to be. And that's my take on that. Keep coming back. It works when I work it. So work it. You are worth it.